there's a whole bunch of prayers, and those aren't just for myself to read, but for all of us to read. And so what happens is, it all starts when we hear the holy gifts for the holy people of God. The priest, if you're still sleeping, will proclaim, "Let us be attentive." That means wake up, sleep not. It's time, something important's happening. What's that something important? The holy gifts becoming for the holy people of God. And you'll see in the bulletin a whole spiel of what would that be like if we actually believed what we believed and what we thought. And we didn't look at the icons as just people that we could never be in any way, shape, or form. The holy gifts, I think we all understand that one, are the bread and the wine consecrated to become the body and blood of Christ. But who are the holy people? Not those guys. Yes, they're holy people. But at that moment, if we truly believe, if you remember all the way from the beginning of the liturgy series, we enter the kingdom of heaven when we enter the church. So who are those holy people? We are. Beautiful. We are those holy people. Those gifts are ours, not to take, to receive. They are given to us. Now, you'll see the priest receives communion differently than the laity. The priest will take one piece from the amno, let's say this is the visco, will take one piece from the amno, put it in his hands and receive it, and then drink from the chalice. Now, little side note, a little tangent, that actually still happens in the liturgy of St. James, which we don't do very often and isn't really seen very often, but some churches now these days have kept the tradition on his feast day in the middle of October. So we might have an opportunity to be able to experience that one day because we're blessed here to have multiple priests. They're not here today, but they do exist here in Tarpon Springs. There's Father Athanasius and Father Theophani. So they will be here, and hopefully we'll be able to actually have that this year, that liturgy of St. James, where the laity actually get to receive body and blood of Christ just like the priests do, because that's what was done in the early church. So it's a real beautiful opportunity. But now how we receive it today as laity is it all goes into the chalice, and the priest feeds with a spoon. And there's obviously many topics that go along with that. Well, aren't there germs? No, there's no germs. There's no germs in it. I believe in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic was going around, people were afraid to actually receive communion because they didn't really understand how that disease would go around. And they didn't really understand what was in the chalice. Because they tried understanding, but it's something outside of our comprehension. If we truly believe it's the body and blood of Christ, how can it be the vehicle for some type of disease? It can't. For one, our faith. But let's say you still don't believe. Well, here's some science. The science is this. In there, if you don't believe that it has become the blood of Christ, is wine. When it reacts with the silver or the gold of a chalice, it creates an unlivable environment for bacteria, for germs, for whatever. So it's not like a cesspool of bacteria in the chalice. It's the body and blood of Christ. And some people, truthfully, don't believe that, and they think that it's just something gross. It's not. It's not gross. It's not something that you can get sick from because you heard 3 people in front of you in the pew coughing their lungs out. No, you're going to be okay, I promise. Because there's days where Father Samson gets sick. And guess what? I receive first. It doesn't work that way. That is such an earthly limitation to what is actually in the chalice. We have to think above that. Things that are outside of our understanding. Because what truly happens in the consecration prayers, the Holy Spirit comes down and descends upon the gifts that were presented from the people that have been offering it, and gives the opportunity for the Holy Spirit to come down and descend and transform. And in turn, we all also are transformed by receiving Holy Communion. All of our struggles, all of our difficulties, all of our pains, all of our health, for that moment when we are in communion, have gone away. Our focus is on receiving the body and blood of Christ. Our focus isn't my knees hurt, my toes hurt, my hands hurt, my arm hurts. I stood up here for 45 minutes giving communion today. My body doesn't ache. Might be because I'm young, might be because I've been working out, but because my focus is not on what's happening in my body. The focus is what is happening in that chalice, in those beautiful moments where the person comes to receive the body and blood of Christ. How? The priest says, the servant of God, the handmaid of God, and the person is supposed to say their name. I know people's names. I've been here for 3 years now. There's some people I still get to meet. But it's not because I don't know your name. It is quite literally your job to say your name. Receives the body and blood of Christ for the forgiveness of sins and life everlasting. And then what? Amen. You say amen, not me. What does amen mean? It means we agree, right? Of course I agree. I'm giving you the body and blood of Christ. I of course agree. But do you agree? Have you made that focus of communion the center of it all at that moment? Because in that beautiful moment, we are truly in communion. We're in communion with God. We're in communion with one another as a church parish family, where our main focus is only our relationship with God. That's the beauty of communion. And that's why you'll see in the message, I don't want to cross over or take too much time, beautiful parallels back and forth of, yes, what's in liturgy, but not just that, what we can take home. Imagine if we really believed we were holy people of God. Imagine if we looked at every moment of our lives as gifts. If we had that mentality, we would truly actually start becoming holy. We would become saint-like. We would get better at achieving theosis, how I've said in the bulletin. There's the motions of our lives, and then there's the motions of the liturgy, of how we receive that communion. There's beautiful parallels of what happens in the liturgy and what happens outside of the liturgy. Because again, the liturgy here is in these walls. We don't take communion outside of it. It's our duty, however, to not let the church, to not let this beautiful sight of a full church leave our minds and think it only exists here in the four walls. Well, many walls, but that are in the form of a church, in the form of a cross. Because the church is also out there. God exists out there. But other things also exist out there that make that very difficult to believe the things that happen in here. We have to see that liturgy doesn't just end here. Yes, I said the Afkon. Yes, I said the dismissal prayers. But it doesn't end. It's a real life situation that occurs and exists and challenges us. And all this is just from the liturgy, the thing that we come to every Sunday. And that's what the beautiful thing is. We've seen so many comments of, Father, I've been an Orthodox Christian for God knows how long, and I'm still learning things. Some people, God bless them, I've been doing it all wrong for 30 years. No, you haven't been doing it wrong. You've been doing what you could do for 30 years. But you've had the real opportunity to now actually understand the liturgy, understand what it's about, and understand that it's real. It's completely different. When I started understanding the liturgy, and I'm still understanding, and I'm here doing what I'm doing, it's a real opportunity to see the real life aspects of our liturgy and of our faith. And it's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful sight to see. Now, are there any questions? Yes.
Can you explain to me why the sacrament is made out of white wine instead of red wine?
It's not made out of white wine.
Well, when I take sacrament, it's white color.
do you mean when you take? When you receive it?
When I receive it, it's white color. Normally it's supposed to be red color.
Okay. So the question is, isn't the color of the wine supposed to be red that goes into the chalice, correct? Instead of white wine. Obviously, in the symbolic nature of our service, in the preparation service, the wine is red. Now, hear me out. It's not like a dessert wine that's like really thick, okay? We use a wine here, St. John Commanderia, which is more of actually a deep red, almost like an amber color, a little brown. But however, there's Mavrodaphne, there's some people will use Nama. There's different kinds of wine that are like sweet red dessert wines that have that really deep red color. Whereas here at St. Nicholas and most of the metropolis of Atlanta, our bishop wants us to use St. John Commanderia, which is that deeper amber. Now, part of why you might say that it looks whitish or pale is because when you have the bread in there, what's in bread? Flour. And the flour is white. So it kind of starts mixing in all together. It becomes in communion with one another. And see, I plugged that in there. That was nice, I know. And it creates that paler color. It's not that it's white wine. It's that it is red wine, meaning that it's the blood of Christ. And when we actually prepare it in the preparation service, at proskomidi, we actually quite say, and the Spirit pierced his side, and out came blood and water. And we pour in the wine and the water at that point. So that is quite literally what happens throughout the service, between before the service and while it is. But it is red wine. It's just not like that deep red that you would see in like a Merlot or a Cabernet or something of that sort. That makes sense?